Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host. Welcome, folks. It's a little warm out there today on this particular end of the coast, but the bottom line is that we're still here. And as you know, we're right in the midst of camp politics in a big, big way. National and also from a local perspective. National from the standpoint, we got a presidential campaign going on right now. That's heavy. And then we've got local politics with the largest city in the state of Oregon, which is Oregon, normally identified as the swamp area. And it's huge also, too. And you got a new form of government. The city has been districtized, and we got four districts. And now rather than having one seat talking to the issues of Portland with the mayor and four city councilmen, we now have 12 people. We got 3 people per district, and then now we're thinking that we'll probably get paid the same, but no, that's about $150,000 a crack per person. And you see, so you multiply that piece down there, and that's for what's it?
$450,000 a district.
That's right. So you say that, wow, at 4 years, time routine. That's it. So the bottom line is that we got some issues, and so naturally I had to go back and pick up one of my senior co-hosts. He's been around for quite some time. He knows the politics of the area. He understands the definition of the swamp. He knows both sides of the aisle. We've always kept both sides of the political entity on the table. We've talked about it. We agree to disagree and a whole bunch of other goodies. But I guess I'm going to raise my hand up a little bit. Bob, raise your hand up a little and see that. There you go. This is community television, which is good. We're trying to get the message out. So now you see us. I got the same thing. Yeah, okay, good. All right, good. So anyway, Bob is here. You've seen Bob here before. And for those of you who are new, living in the city, this is Bob Williams, and he's got quite a background in his own right. He came up here shooting that pill. In basketball. That's basically what it is. But anyway, Bob's been around, and so what we're going to do, we're going to take some time, and in fact, better yet, Bob, why don't you, for the benefit of some of those new folks, because this is a voting time every day.
Sure.
Let them know a little bit, where you were, and then how you got here, and things that you were doing.
I'm originally from Chicago, as we say back there, born and raised.
Yes, okay.
Although I did spend some time, formative years in Mississippi.
Okay.
Natchez, Mississippi, and left there, went to Chicago, went to high school, grade school, high school there, picked up that basketball, and because I was tall, everybody thought I needed to know how to play.
That's right.
And so they put in a little time with me doing that, and it paid for my college education.
Yes.
After college, I played a couple of years with a organization called the Broadway Harlem Clowns.
Okay.
I played with them for a couple of years, and I didn't like it because if that was pro basketball, I didn't want to be there because we were riding to where we had to play. And so after that, I went after college. After that, I went into the Air Force because I was trying to find myself.
Yep, right.
And I was, you're running trying to find yourself.
Yep.
And my first year of college, I didn't like what was going on, so I joined the Air Force.
Yep.
I couldn't run anymore. But there, they realized I had basketball skills, so they used them there.
There you go.
And for 4 years, I played basketball, and although I did have a job, I was a firefighter and crash crew. So coming out of the Air Force, I went back to college down in Colorado, Trinidad, Colorado. Was coach from University of Portland, came down, heard about me, wanted to see me, brought me out here. I fell in love. I had offers to go to Washington State, Citadel, a few other schools. I chose University of Portland because he said one thing to me: "I'll stick with you until you and make sure you graduate."
Nice.
That did it. And so I came, I played, kind of lost interest in basketball after that. And I had never had a job.
Yeah.
So I got a job at the time it was First National Bank.
Yep.
And that's where you and I first met way
sure
back
did.
then, trying
Yep.
to change things
That's right.
for the betterment
Exactly.
of our people.
That's right. Exactly.
And I almost lost my job.
Same here. No, you're right.
And
You're
from
right.
that point, we've been. I've been on the board of directors of TriMet, helped revamp the A. Philip Randolph Associate chapter here in Portland. Did a number of things that within the union confines.
And that was huge.
Supporting, it's amazing how supporting candidates that that certain people in the union don't support, they felt that they could threaten my job. And then they found out that I wasn't that guy, because my attitude was, go ahead, fire me for supporting a candidate and make me make my situation where I don't never have to work
Now,
again.
they hired you as a lobbyist, so to speak, right?
No, I was a union rep.
A union rep.
I represented workers at Safeway, Fred Meyer, Albertsons.
Yeah. You were on the island there for a while.
Oh yeah, I started out as working for Safeway.
Right.
Made it all the way up to assistant manager.
Yes.
Was on the island
Yes.
at
Yes.
Jansen Beach. Came back over to Martin Luther. At the time it was Union Avenue, so Martin Luther King. I was assistant manager there. Me and the district manager didn't get along, and so
Safeway. It was a Safeway store. Yeah.
And so that's another story.
Right.
But my favorite saying, God works in mysterious ways,
Right.
and I've never looked back.
I know that. That's right. That was a good deal. That was a good
And
deal.
so, got involved in the union and politics. Became my area precinct person.
You were the only guy there. That's right.
I was the only black guy.
That's right. That's right.
And then different, I ain't gonna name them, but different people within politics realized talking to me could get them money for their campaigns, and I made sure that they got it.
Good. I got you. You learned the ropes.
Oh yeah, and once you learn the ropes, you're good. I went to 4 different Democratic conventions. I also went with Cal. I was a member of the Black Cal Henry's organization.
Assembly of Black Affairs.
Assembly of Black Affairs.
Yeah.
And it was nonpartisan.
Yes.
So I learned how to deal with the other side of the
Both
aisle.
sides.
And from there, I realized 2 things. One, if you can communicate,
Yep.
you can get things done. And 2, if you talk down and about people, you alienate them.
Yep.
And those
Good point.
And so I watched, I'm older, so I watched politics on TV, and I watched when the Democrats was was inclusive,
Right.
things were done on a bipartisan level.
Right.
Like today, and
Everything
is my way or no way. I got the answer.
But you got the background.
Yeah, and so it's just it's horrible to think that today, instead of talking politics, they want to talk about each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're not I'll go into the political side now.
Right.
You're not black.
Yeah.
Or you weren't black last year.
Yeah.
Because you're biracial.
Yeah.
So at the time someone from one side of that spectrum is interviewing you and talking to you, well, yes, that's who you are.
Right.
But when somebody from the other side talks to you, that's who you are.
Right.
You're not trying to have something different.
Right.
That's who I am.
Right.
I remember when they tried to do it to Tiger Woods. He ain't black.
Right.
You know, they tried to do it to O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
He's only black when he needs you. You know, I mean, everybody got a way to divide. How do we come together? You know, this is America. It's a melting pot. I had a discussion last week with a gentleman. He supports the other candidate.
Okay.
And I asked him. He said, we're going to take this country back. And I asked him. I said, who are you taking it back from? You liberals. I said, and what does that mean? Yeah, our forefathers. I said, wait a minute. You don't want to go there with me on forefathers. I said, simply because your forefathers were not the best people coming out of Europe. I said, they didn't own anything. I said, those were the people that was that was down underneath. I said, so you need to understand, the king and the queen didn't send their best people to find America. I said, so you need to think about what you're saying when you start talking about your forefathers. Read a history book.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. That's why they don't want us to find out about black people and who we are and what we were. Kings and queens were prevalent in Africa. You know, a lot of things that you do today is because of what they learned from people in Africa. You know, I just look at it and I go, but we want to have a name for everybody. And unfortunately, we who are have some pigment in our skin want to say they prejudice, they bigots, they hate us. It's not that. This is class warfare.
Yeah, big time.
It's all about class, and it's been that way ever since the beginning. And class says, "Hey, you're a slave, and you're a low-life. I'm gonna say you're a low-life Caucasian. Therefore, you watch the slaves and make sure they do right. That makes you over them. You're more important than them. And then, but I can treat you bad too, you know." And I'm going, when are we going to get away from that? I mean, at what point do we learn that hatred is not the answer? You don't get when you hate someone, you always have to be looking back, because that means you've tried to push them behind you, and you can't go forward looking backwards because you'll run into something. So stop the hate and say, America is a melting pot. We are here trying to improve things in America. And as we do that, we try and help the world. You know, Israel and Palestine have been fighting since the beginning of time. If you read the Bible, you'll find out it was two sons, and one became became Palestinian, and the other one stuck with Israel, and they fought. And that, you know, if you open a book, the Bible is one good is one source, but there are many other sources as well. Don't listen to. I was watching cable TV, and President Biden and his team negotiated the release of prisoners. And what happens? CNN and NBC and all was talking about the prisoners and how well, what it took to get them, because it took 5-6 countries coming together, put together the plan to get those Americans out of there. Well, I turned to the other network, and they want to talk about how he didn't get so-and-so, and he didn't do this, and he didn't do that. It's time to get away from the negative. You know, hey, I know you want your candidate to win, but my God, at least find something positive to talk about. Tell me what his plan is. You know, if it's the 2025 plan, I don't know anybody that would want that, because it's not only going to hurt minorities, as they call us, which we are when they're finding out it's not true, but it's going to hurt everybody. You know, I keep telling people, sickness don't just touch you or me. It doesn't pick. Well, he's black, I'm going to touch him. It'll touch anybody and everybody. And certain laws and movements in this country touches everybody. Workers, they're not all black. So when jobs become you start losing your job, it affects everybody. We need to get politicians in there that's going to try and do the right thing. I'm online constantly telling people, tell me which politician or which branch of the government raises prices on food. I don't know one. You know, maybe I'm the dumb one, and you can tell me which one. Which branch of the government raises the price on a car? You know, it's not. It's the businessman. And now you want to put a businessman. When I took economics in college, the first thing my professor said, and I never forgot it, and this was back in the 70s. He told me, he says, the class, he says, understand, business people are in business for one reason, to make money.
That's what they do.
And they do not have a country.
No.
If I can go over to this country and it's cheaper and I can get my widgets built over there, I'm going to do that.
And make more money.
And make more money selling them to you in your country. And so and then in my political side class, they said, politics is not a business. You're running a country, but you're not trying to make money running that country.
Interesting.
Isn't it? You're trying to help the people that are citizens of your country, or you're trying to stay out of a war, or you're trying to help other people, but you're not a business. So we in America, we've gotten things totally confused. And we don't have any politicians talking about that. Now, if I'm wrong, I'd like to sit down at the table and listen to them talk and tell me why I'm wrong.
Tell you what, on that particular point, you're right, because and here we are, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to get us really involved in the time that we're into at this point in time. They don't have that history
Right.
that you were sharing, if you will, and so consequently, but they've been progressive on the money
Right.
in politics. So consequently, most of the layout in regards to what are you running for is about the money and the power.
That's it.
Not about community.
Nothing.
Not about the people on that particular line. And so you say, well, okay, fine. Well, what can we do to bring it back? Because they got to go back to understand what this situation. You can't sit around and tell me you're going to be able to justify, let's say, in the city council thing, paying newcomers coming on at $150,000 a year.
Even in, everybody talks about unions and everything.
Right.
But it's a progression.
Right.
I referee high school basketball.
Yeah.
I was on the committee when we got our new commissioner. When our old commissioner, who had been there for over 20-some years,
Right.
finally decided to retire, and we were bringing in a new one.
Right.
And for some reason, they were under the impression that this guy that have no clue, that want to take the job so he can learn on the job,
Right.
should make what the commissioner leaving
That's
after
ridiculous.
20 years
That's
make.
ridiculous.
I said, oh no.
That's ridiculous.
Oh no.
That's ridiculous.
And we set it up that way. That was my union brain working. You don't walk on the job and you make as much as somebody that's been there 20 years.
So that's kind of like where we are with the city.
That's right.
And I'm saying, so then you ask yourself the question, well, let's go back to square one. who were the ones that brought the issue. First off, who were the one that said this is the way we need to go?
Right.
Not the committee that went through that process, because that same entity that said this is what we want to do. It'd be interesting to find out who specifically on the city council, whether it's the mayor or was it two other commissioners or whatever, but they voted on that.
Right.
But there was a point person on that group
Right.
that said this is what we can do that would benefit whom.
That's
See,
it.
nobody knows.
Because how
Because it wouldn't benefit the community.
that's what I'm going to say. You got 3 people now that's taking care of your community. What do you get from that?
And the kind of people, now think about it.
Yeah.
Now, it's not the whole city of Portland. They've got boundaries.
Right.
And District 2 is the largest. And basically, that's where most of the action is. Because it's the largest in the community or whatever. And so the name of the game is that you have 3 people in that seat, and each one of them gets a secretary. And that's it. And then they've added more monies with these other entities.
Yeah, you got a
city manager.
City manager.
You got all of that situation. But then those 3 people who are there, one, and they said
They have no power.
and they've not showed you the resume from the standpoint of
What did they do before that? How do they see
and how
themselves?
do they relate to the issues of the community?
Right.
And they have 4 major areas. And see, there's nothing there that says to these individuals on the front end, where's your resume?
And the other part of that is, if you don't have a resume, normally you don't get the job. You know, But the other side of that is, I can tell you what I'm going to do, and we have lost the one thing that we as the citizens of the community has, and that's saying how.
Yeah, that's right.
One word.
That's right.
How?
I'm going to do it. That's right.
Because in order to get anything done with 12 people, you got to convince somebody else to see it your way.
Well, but at the same point, think about it now. Let's just take one district, the district number 2, okay? And here's the situation for basically at the end of the day. I think there's probably about over 30 people now that have signed up for district number 2. It's the largest district, if you will. And you think about it, and the way these other folks are going to be elected is that all you have to do is get the majority.
They get more votes than the other person.
That's right. And in many ways, the way the system is signed up, the person who's got the familiarity and the friends, the most friends, and this, that, and the other, they don't have any.
You don't have to have any background. Just have to know somebody.
Just know somebody to put you up there, and in 2 of the district, you got 4 years and $150 a shot.
Right.
And then the other 2, you got me?
Yeah,
you get 2
2
years. You get me? And so you ask yourself the question now again, like I said, you got the largest district in number 2, and then you look at the people that are in district number 2, and you say, well, now some of those people have identified themselves as having an issue, but they're running on the money piece. And those people, I'll give you a good example. That when Dan was the only commissioner that had said he was going to be running in 2, immediately media said, okay, he's going to have that 1 seat. And then the other 2. And then my thing was, okay, well, first off, what did he do when he was a commissioner in regards to the issue in St. John? But that was never the case.
Right.
So, and don't get me wrong, but with his background, as I look at his resume, he should be at the front of the line dealing with the homeless issue. Because no due respect,
because
his
he's been there
and
long.
his brother was having some issues with the drug, all this, that, and the other. So he and himself, he's been involved. So I appreciated his resume, but then every time they got ready to talk and respond to something, they take it. So, but my point is, you see that popularity.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily say that he's going to get elected because of the nature of the crowd. Is who's going to vote for him? If another person has more friends that he does. Now, he's not running citywide Portland.
Right. He's just running his community.
Just it's a community.
His district.
His
we
district.
We got to
his
change.
district.
Yeah.
And then the business community, normally who's been running the city for a long time, they don't have access to all of the people.
Right.
When you put that much money on the table, that's why you have so many people running.
Right.
Because they look, I got more friends than you.
Let me see. I increase my salary.
Yeah.
I can take a chance with $5,000
Yeah.
to run for this position.
Yeah.
I don't have to do a whole lot.
Hey.
And I put $5,000 into this race, betting on myself.
Hey. Yes. That's what it is.
That's it.
It's a lottery.
Yeah.
It's a lottery. And then at the end of the day, that person going to be representing you for 4 years, and you got two others that's basically in the same kind. Then it's an OJT, on the job training. And then so they're going to spend that whole time trying to figure out what's going on. And then when you look at the other district,
They're gone.
Besides that, they got to take their ideas of what they think is a solution now, an OJT, and take it to all of the folks. You got me? And 2/3 of those folks have to vote for your piece.
Right. Yeah.
And if the other entity who owns the rest of these folks over here, they say no, so then there's a frustration. So
That
who's gonna
costs too much.
See, so who's going to represent the community now?
Right. The more people you get on the committee, the more confusion.
That's right. No.
You know, it's just that simple.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you went to feeding 4 miles and a mayor who made the decision
That's right.
to now a city manager that has more power than
That's right. And
got more power than the majority.
That's right. And then now, it was interesting. They went back to the table to try to change the whole committee. And guess what? Once they put that money in the front of that,
Yeah.
these people said, "No way, we want to go with what's wrong," which is fair.
Yeah.
Which is fair because they voted on it, and they were the one that did the selection of the people who made the decision. I'm talking about the city commission
Yeah.
and the mayor.
Yeah, I know. And the thing that got me was that all of a sudden it says we got to revamp City Hall.
All right.
We got to redo it because
Yeah.
we're going to have all these people
Yeah,
here. Instead of saying, wow, we got to build, they got a building.
They got
on
parks. They got parks with buildings in there
Yeah.
already there. Those commissioners should be in their district,
Right.
but they spent all that money. But see, they
And
made the
meet
decision.
there.
See, they figured that we're going to build them and make sure that they are downtown. And
For
we're gonna
what?
we're going to control them. Ain't going to be no controlling over there.
No. I mean, I don't know who put the plan together, but I've been laughing at it since it happened.
Well, same here.
And
Same here.
I'm like, wow. I was thinking, my wife is like, hey, this house is too big and all the
yeah,
kids
you
are
get
gone.
yourself-
It's time to move.
Yeah.
You think about moving back to Portland, and I look at
Just in a condo.
yesterday she came home. She goes, man, I didn't realize Portland was that nasty and dirty.
Oh yeah. Well, she said, I ain't going nowhere.
And I said, okay. Yeah, that's all I said. I ain't got no opinion. I said, okay. But she's now beginning to watch CNN and watch the news, and she's beginning to hear all the things that's going on, and she's coming to me with questions and comments. And I'm going, well, you can make things better by participating.
That's right. That's right.
But if I call it barbershop conversation.
Yeah.
When you go, remember when we used to go get our hair cut and everybody be at the barbershop and we talk about everything.
Oh yeah. That's
It
right.
stay there.
That's right.
It don't go nowhere.
That's right.
And that was one of the things that made me start getting into politics and doing the things I did, because I said, the things we talk about need to go somewhere.
Yeah.
How do we collect after electing?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's
We,
right.
and especially us who are black,
Yeah.
they come into the neighborhood and they tell you all these things, and then you vote for them. They go off,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nothing is done, and you're like, oh man, they didn't do nothing, but they got experience. I'm gonna vote for them again.
Jeez, they haven't got nothing.
Yeah, and I mean it's time to stop this.
Yeah, we need a change.
Yeah,
In fact, on this particular note, I want to again back to the viewing public to let you know we're having a discussion here between Bob and I, and in all due respect, he's been around. He's got a resume. Definitely has a resume. And in all due respect, we've been spending time. I've got a resume, so to speak. And we just sort of sharing, giving our opinion.
right.
But realistically, you need to be having this discussion. You need to get your neighbors at the table and talk about this stuff because, in all due respect, it's your representation. You're the voting public. And in all due respect, you do not control that voting public. Trust me. You need to understand that vote counts.
Right.
Your vote counts.
Your vote.
And that's why
Your vote counts two ways.
That's right.
It counts when you don't use it.
That's right.
And it counts when you use it.
That's right. That's right. There you go.
So
That-
when you don't use it, don't complain
That's right.
about the other side or somebody winning.
It's important.
You know.
So don't look at this show from the standpoint of saying this is Bob and Bruce trying to do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's the Voters Digest. We just happen to have a
Right.
resume.
We have a platform.
We got a platform, and we're sharing with you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's basically what we're going to be doing, and then talking to solutions.
Right.
You know, everything that we've been talking to prior to this, where we are at this point in time, you've had the opportunity to hear the discussions we've been having,
Right.
if you will. And trust me, you probably have the same deal. If
You didn't know it.
you didn't know, so now
Now all you have to do is like I tell my sons when they my daughters when they say something to me, I says, "Did you look it up?"
Right, there you go.
And my grandkids especially, "Did you look it up?"
There you go.
Papa, why is he saying those things?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not there with him,
Yeah.
but evidently it's to get your attention.
Yeah.
Now, did he get your attention in a good way or a bad way? You know, if someone is talking bad about Bruce to me,
Yeah.
and I've been dealing with Bruce for 40 years,
Both ends. That's right. That's right.
I can't tell him how to get with Bruce on his issue other than saying, you need to talk to Bruce.
Yeah.
But I also know one other thing. If he'll talk bad about Bruce to me, he'll talk bad to you about me.
That's right.
So, that's when I began to look at him with one eye open. I don't have both eyes on him because I got other things I want to do.
Right.
But I do keep an eye on him.
On him.
Yes.
Right, I
Or
get
her.
it, I get it. Well, it's important. It's important, and again, it's important to have this discussion.
Yeah.
Now, because we have tried to make an imprint on our community,
Right.
and it's been, and you know, and I know both. The history was it was the black community, but it had no address,
Right.
and we did come up with an idea of District
18.
18, and it had boundaries. It had an address,
Right.
and unfortunately, the entity, when we did that, and then right there, we talked about this thing big time, and we thought maybe we was going to get it, but there was an element out there that said, no way should we have an address. Let's keep it the way it is. And all those funds, federal, all that stuff, we had no control whatsoever.
Right.
But, again, I'm bringing it up at this point in time. So now we have an address that's in District 2. So consequently, I'm saying if you here's another opportunity.
Right.
We're just talking, right? But if you look at the boundary, it was inclusive of District 18.
Right.
Now, let's be real about this situation. You don't have a majority. In fact, there wasn't a majority
Ever.
even in 18.
Right.
There were a number of blacks that were there, but no. And the only reason why that resonated somewhat because every state of the union had to have a minority identity to get federal funds.
Right.
And so consequently, it went to that area.
Once again, we're being used.
That's right. That's right. So the name of the game is that we're sharing this with you to say that if you want to step to the table, you can, but with the understanding, it ain't about just because you're black. You got to identify with issues in that respective community. Now, the name of the game is that those issues, in most cases, are formulated by a majority community. So now, if you understand those issues, if you will, and you're able to articulate the fact that you have got a resume, right, and this, that, and the other, then guess what? You may get a popular vote.
You have a chance.
You have a chance. You have a chance.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no chance there. And even if one happened to slip in there,
it's only for a short period of time
Yes.
because they'll replace that person with another, and that
even while you're sitting there,
Yeah.
and then use you as
they'll shut you up.
that's right. That's right.
You know.
So, and we're not being negative, folks. I'm being straight up with you. I mean, somebody got to talk about
Yeah,
these.
think about it.
Just-
I mean, negative politics is what we're going through
That's
today.
right. That's right. Big time.
Big time. And there's so much negative going on until that stops you from asking the question.
That's right.
Perfect example of that was the other day when one of the candidates went to a area where he knew he shouldn't have been.
Yeah, but that was good.
Yeah,
Just
he knew he shouldn't have been there.
But he was
That's
there.
number one. But but he came. But he came with an agenda of his own, and that agenda was to make his people. And when I say his people, I'm talking about his supporters. Make them see that he'll fight anybody.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they are trying to attack me.
Yeah.
You know, and everything he said as to why he felt he was attacked was a lie.
Yeah.
Because the first thing the lady said to him was, "Thank you for coming. It was thank you for being here."
Okay.
Sat down, understanding. I mean, I'm away from that, but I've ran a number of meetings on the short end, and that means that some of your time has been wasted. Now you got to try to get the points that you want across in this short period of time. So instead of going through, as we call it, the fogging, where you allow a person to slowly come into this light, she just went right to the question and asked that question. Well, that gave him the opportunity to say what he said. And, I just looked at it and I laughed. I said, wow. And then, because it was 3 black women on that stage, it appeared to me that he tried to run things rather than be a guest.
Now let's recognize this too. Let's recognize the fact you had representation from CNN. That was the first one.
Right.
You had represented from Fox.
Yes.
That was the third woman.
Yeah.
And then I think the woman was the president of the association.
Right.
That's
No,
what-
not that. Not the. No, she wasn't. She
What
was.
she?
She was.
What was her role?
God. But she has an important.
Was she a media?
She's
person?
media, but she.
Oh no, that was.
God, what was her name?
Because that was that association. She's president of
Okay.
the Black Journalists Association.
Right.
She
And
was a principal
journalist.
person. Yeah.
Yes.
She was a black journalist. But you check this out. I'm just throwing some pieces out.
Okay.
Like you said, normally he is totally anti-CNN.
Mm-hmm.
He is pro-Fox.
Right.
And he treated the woman who answered the question initially differently.
Yeah.
Right.
You must be from MSN.
Well, whatever. But
Yeah.
she no, that's right. I've seen
ABC.
Yeah.
You must be from ABC.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah. See, so my point is that, you see, again, like I said, I will say one thing about this dude. He is a master salesman. He can sell an Eskimo and icebox.
Yeah.
And so does we. If you don't understand, you wouldn't buy it. If you
Right.
understand. But my point is, when he took advantage of it that way, you would have thought that when those women got together, see, look here, I tell you what we're going to do. We do already understand that. So I tell you what, you shouldn't moderate the piece. Let Harris do it from Fox. Let her. I'm just saying because he's going to treat her differently.
Well,
But see, when CNN,
I'm not gonna bring you into this and say we're gonna kowtow to him. No, this is our
no
piece.
kowtowing.
This is our piece.
But somebody made a decision as to who's going to chair the meeting.
Right.
So if CNN said demanded, then in all due
But it
respect,
didn't. That was MSN. That was she's
Journalist?
not with CS. She's not with CNN.
no, she's CNN. Yeah, she's a reporter.
No, she's ABC.
No, but CNN runs in that same arena.
Okay.
I'm just throwing.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
I've seen her on.
Here's the thing. Even when the lady from Fox,
Yeah.
when she
Yeah,
she asked him a question, he didn't answer it.
Yeah, but still,
He didn't answer it.
no, but he didn't get negative with it.
Huh?
He didn't get negative with it. He didn't use her.
He didn't say anything to get negative with anyone other than the first lady.
That's what I'm trying to say to you.
And that was because he was trying to make a point. It didn't matter if she was number 1 or number 3.
As long as she had CNN sitting up on her,
Right.
And that's what the deal was.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and then when he made the other point about that Kamala was invited, I didn't see anybody answer that from the standpoint
Of
of why she wasn't there, or something to that effect. And then,
Well, they
and
did.
he kept over talking her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he was talking, he had command.
right.
And then no one was there because it's like anything else.
Right.
If you don't, if you're gonna start off one way and say I'm the leadership, that person should have maintained that status one way or the other. But it didn't happen that way.
Right.
And he basically said, bang, bang, just
You can't
steamroll.
answer. Basically,
He
he told her.
steamrolled- he
He
steamrolled-
told her, "You can't ask me any more hard
That's
questions."
Right, that's right.
That's what he said.
And he said that. See, ordinarily you don't do. But I'm just saying to
Yeah.
you, when I'm saying to you, he has a lane.
Mm-hmm.
He's running for office. He has a definition. But my point is that he stays in his lane.
Well, he had got out of his lane.
In what way?
Some of his people thought. Well, after the shooting,
Oh no.
listen to me.
Yeah.
After the shooting,
Yeah.
they thought that he had changed somewhat and he had softened some. And he had to come and show them, no, I ain't gonna let y'all down.
Now remember what I just said. That was his lane.
Yeah,
And he even and made the point to the group, and people thought it was great. Oh, this is great. Now we really he has been in that lane from day one
oh yeah,
that he got involved. And all due respect, Trump has been in politics even before he ran for office. He started with the goddamn apprentice program, right? Got me? Think about that. When he had the show,
oh, well, I don't know.
that's when he really got in politics.
Well, I
He was
didn't see
talking to
that.
the masses. Oh man, it was awesome. If you look at that show today,
Yeah,
it's the same way he's running the office right now. Running
sure, he's a businessman.
No, but
He's a businessman, and he run it like a
he's in
businessman.
control, and as a business person,
And he thinks that he owned it.
yeah, he owned it.
Yeah, and for him to come out and say, I'm waiting on Vice President to come and tell us her plan, sit down and be able to articulate what it is that she wants to do.
But see, she should have done that on the front end.
No, it was
He did it.
and for the last 2 weeks have been a cluster, you know what, because everybody had President Biden on top of the ticket. And all of a sudden, it would be like you walking away from this show and I take over. I got to have some time to get into this, even though I've been here on the assistant seat.
No.
I'm
Wrong
telling you,
person to choose.
wrong.
Choose somebody else.
Okay.
Don't choose yourself.
And so, but if someone else come in, they're gonna have to have some time, to get it, to understand what we've been trying to do.
No, but this chick, the one that was answering, trust me, I've seen her on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her tough thing.
Oh yeah.
But my point is that she lost control on the front end. My point is that if in fact Kamala was not going to be there, but if she was invited to be there, she should have said that on the front part. Here's the show. This is what we're going to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, before he said anything. She should have said the piece. And then if he jumped in that piece aspect of it, then that's a different ballgame.
Right.
He wouldn't have the opportunity.
See, because if I'd have been sitting there
Oh, yeah,
when he said it, I'd have said, "Well, you had the opportunity not to come after you found out that she wasn't going to be here,
Right, but
and
see-
you've known that for quite some
Yeah,
time."
but see, even if you made that statement,
You know.
he might not have said nothing. See, we don't know.
Yeah.
But see, I'm just saying what really
You know,
happened was that
he-
she did not. He basically said he talked about who was invited and who wasn't invited. She didn't talk about
Yeah,
that.
he took control.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
She
he
lost
took
control.
control.
She lost that control.
And, you know, I would love to have seen him try to take control over 3 black men sitting there. See,
Well, now, come on.
it was sexist.
But
It was
yeah,
very sexist what he did. He took advantage of 3 ladies sitting there trying to do their job, not realizing what was on the other side. You know, but 3 men sitting there, if he had said something like that to them, I think he would have found out that it was totally different. But here's the other part of that. He blamed her for for things that she had no control over. The mics, the setup.
But he kept saying it.
Yeah.
And then
And he blamed her.
And Harris said okay to that. Remember that now? She said okay. I am having a tough time listening. Remember she did that.
No, that was Harris down on the far end.
From Fox.
She condoned
That's
what he
right.
was saying.
That's right.
But you know what she did? When they interviewed her on Fox, see, because I watched both channels, and when they interviewed her on
After the deal.
after the deal,
Yeah.
she told Fox, she said, I asked him questions and he did not answer.
Well, you know how it is. She got to be able to come back on the table now. Come on now, you know that's all about.
Because
Even, she was careful. She was even careful when she was on there.
Oh yeah.
See,
I ain't gonna crucify me.
He had control of
Total.
the whole piece.
Total.
And so I want to make sure we understand.
Yeah.
And see, and my point is that, and the reason what I'm going to is this: if the folks would keep it to the issues,
Right. He wouldn't allow it.
no. But my point is, if let's say if you were the chairman and I was the chairman sitting in the committee, we know what the
Yeah.
question's going to be. And then if you allow him to take it over and he takes over, he's going to do what he wants to
Yeah.
do.
And the diatribe that he was spouting was nothing about any of the questions. He didn't answer one question that they asked.
Now, one question I'm sure you would probably agree to.
Okay.
Now, we've been doing the show for
A long time.
When it got down to the women issues, what was the things that came out of our mouth? That it's a women's issue. We don't get going on that. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
We never, the abortion, it's a women's issue. Okay?
Right.
And I'm saying, he made a statement, and I think the way he answered it was that, hey, it's America. It's a state issue. It goes to the state. Whatever state wants to make that decision on whatever, if you want to, that's where he's at. It was a state issue. Let the states handle it. He basically said the same thing in another way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a woman's issue. He answered that question that day. That was one thing I got. That's the only thing I got out of that particular piece, that whole piece. Because when it got to the women, see, because the mindset was he's going to a group of women organization, and his thing was the abortion issue is the main thing that Kamala is going to identify for her platform. So he makes it a point, anytime to talk about the whole issue of abortion, he said, "Hey, that's the state issue. I sign off to the state. That's the district I went." You kind of hear where I'm kind of coming from, and see, and so my point is that the folks who know what the issues are should make sure they pick the right issues to put on the table with it. Because if you sit up there and
well, what's a right issue to put on the table with him?
No.
And that's my question.
No.
Because he's not a politician.
No. Listen what I'm saying.
And his people tell you he's not a politician.
I understand, but I'm still saying, okay, we're sitting here, and we both have said right up front, it's the whole issue of abortion is a woman's issue. She has to deal with the old man upstairs, and when she gets in age and whatever, that's her. That's not my issue.
Well, you had a hand in it. So my attitude about abortion is a real simple one.
Okay.
Okay.
Watch yourself now.
Okay. Government should not be in my bedroom. That's my issue. And by that I mean, when it comes to abortion, if you can afford it, if you can afford it, then that's on you, your mate, and your doctor, and your conscience. That's on you. I don't want to be in your bedroom making decisions on you and what you do after you've done what the grown up. You see, that should be the issue. The issue should be, should government be in my bedroom? Should government determine what goes on in my bedroom? No, they should not. And that's where the issue comes. See, people don't understand. I was around when this issue was
Now, wait a minute now,
killing
now
people.
watch yourself now.
Okay, I was around when this issue was killing people.
All kind of people.
Yeah, black, white, it didn't matter.
That's right.
But when
It was
a number of white kids went in that back alley to Miss Ann, and she used that coat hanger, and they went home and bled to death, things began to change back in the 60s. Read up on it, it's there.
Okay.
And so, bingo. But now, how the Republican Party got involved in it is because of Planned Parenthood and all the others that said that where people were going to have abortions, and the government is giving money to these organizations, and so they said the government shouldn't be paying for it. That's how they got into it. And then the Christian right came into it, and the Republicans saw they were losing elections during that time, and they saw there was an opportunity to get more votes, and they joined with them. But you know, back in the mid '80s, they tried to separate themselves from the Christian right, and they couldn't. And so they said, "Hey, if we can't get rid of them, then we're going to join them, and we're going to get as hard as they are." And so it's not it wasn't about whether it was right or wrong to have an abortion. What it was about is who's going to pay for it. It's always about money in America. Follow the dollar.
Remember that you said government should stay out of this stuff.
Right.
And I'm just saying, what he said, I'm just using the facts piece. It's a woman. He says woman. He didn't say women.
Right.
He says a woman issues. I mean, and you can go to any state you want. Now, if you go to a state and they're quote saying, yes, I'm for abortion, you can do your thing. If you go to another state, they say no, then hey, you broke the law over there. Blah, 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 routine.
Yeah.
But it's a woman's issue.
Okay, but here's the thing. You got men making the decision.
Decision what?
Whether you can or can't have an abortion in this state. Look at who's making the decision.
No, it's majority.
It's not no.
It's majority. No,
There ain't no majority.
One state is pro, and the other state.
One more
is
time. It's men making the decision. I don't know one legislative group that's the majority women. So it's men making the decision.
Are you saying
get men out of
Are
it?
you saying every state
Every state,
is what?
man, run by men.
Run by men.
Yeah, the governor don't make laws. Okay, Congress make laws.
But they got
That's in the
labels.
Constitution.
But the men have labels. They got to identify with the policy that was voted on. They can't say no.
Can't say no to what?
You can't say no to the fact that you can't have an abortion, or you can't have an abortion. After it goes through the legislature and get voted on.
That's what I'm saying. And the people that's voting on it in the legislature are men. The majority of them are men.
Yeah, but you said majority. You mean to tell me that?
Yes.
So some states who are majority.
Name a state that has a majority of women making that decision that you can't have an
Majority
abortion.
of women.
Yeah.
No, it's the outcome of the policy, the legislation. It's not about numbers. It's
What's it about?
It's what policy gets approved and
How do you get it approved?
through a vote.
So is that numbers?
Yeah,
And so if the legislature is making the vote, right,
yeah.
and the and it's men, who's making the decision?
Making the decision,
Yeah.
regardless if it's a majority of men and they voted for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened? Does it become a law or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so boom, that's the answer.
But I'm saying,
Some states go for abortion, some states don't.
but what I'm saying is, if we're talking about it's a woman's issue, let women make the decision.
No. Our Constitution does. Now, you know, that's now understand now. It's not about just roller derby routine. They voted on this issue.
Who are
many
they?
States, the legislature. And as you say, you can use your majority. That don't mean nothing. They voted on it. This state, you can have 80% of men, and they voted for the damn deal, and it goes. If it passed, that
It
person
go-
goes
right.
get the abortion. So that's the issue. That's the fact.
That's
All this
right.
other
I'm
stuff-
agreeing with you on that.
So,
But I'm saying
how do
that-
you get out of it.
What I'm saying is that if you said get men out of it.
No, I did not say that.
What did you say about men?
I said the states.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say nothing about the men. I said there are states. There are states that said yes and no. He said as far as the issue of abortion, the state makes the decision as to whether they can or they cannot.
Right.
And so many states can, and so many states can't. And so if you want to go one over here, you go over there. You don't go to that one.
But what about the state that says you're a citizen of our state, and if you go to another state and have an abortion?
Well, I don't know nothing about that legislature. They've not done that.
Yeah.
Who did that?
I think I'm trying to remember if it's Georgia or Mississippi.
Yeah,
one of them.
But my point is, I'm just saying, we agreed way back when. It's a women issue. We shouldn't even be discussing this.
Right. 100%.
But the bottom line is that that's the argument, and he made the statement the same way in a certain amount of way. He said the same thing. Hey, it's a women's issue.
Right. But men going to make the decision. And ask me how they make the decision. They run the Congress.
Well, okay.
So they make the decision. So it might be a woman's issue, but the men are making the decision.
And they're voting for it.
Yeah.
In cases.
Or
against it.
Or against it.
Right. So
Right. Regardless, men are making the
and
decision.
that's how we started off the whole question, the whole piece. It's a woman's deal.
It's a woman.
It's not a men. It's not a men issue.
I disagree with it's a woman issue.
Watch yourself now.
No, it's not just a woman's issue. It's a couple's issue.
No,
It's an issue between the man and woman that did that.
It's her body.
It should be.
Now wait a minute.
It's her
The
body.
statement now.
They should discuss it.
Yeah, but that's not what she's saying.
And then if she decides against what they discussed, that's something different.
But now we got politics not running for office now.
No, we got a man and a woman disagreeing.
No. He's saying no. It's not a man and a woman. It's a woman's issue. That's basically what the Supreme Court voted on. Think about it.
Supreme.
I'm serious.
When did the Supreme Court vote that it was a woman's issue? They voted that. What did the Supreme Court vote?
What?
On abortion, what did the Supreme Court vote?
Well, it was a woman's issue. It went the other way.
I must have missed that. That must have been during the time I had.
What was on the books? What was on the books was that you could have an abortion.
Roe versus Wade.
Yeah,
You could have an abortion.
They voted against it.
Right.
Okay. But my point is that the argument is still there, and his position was it's still a woman's issue.
Who's
Trump's piece.
no? His position is it's a state's issue. It's not a woman's issue. He ain't never said it was a woman's issue. He said it's a state should be.
But he
each
was
state
talking-
should be making
he
the
was
decision.
talking about a woman.
No, he wasn't, because women don't run the state. Women don't have enough votes in any political arena to make the decision.
It's majority rule. I agree, but it's the issue that they're voting on. Some women will be a part of something, some women will be over here. Some men will be here, some women. There's no such thing as a pure so-called all the males making it. No, come on, Bob.
Name. Then let me ask you.
Look.
Can I ask one question
No,
and leave it
no,
alone?
one thing. Is it a woman's issue or is it a male issue? From your perspective.
From my it's a woman has the right to determine what goes on with her body.
That's it. That's all I'm interested.
That's it.
Okay, that's it today. Okay, well, we got about 40 seconds. But you see what we've gone through. We have gone through a discussion, and then that's what you need to do.
Right.
But you got to understand what the situation is.
That's it.
And then a lot of times, what passes, that's basically where we are. But they've given options. They're still fighting the issue. So some folks who want an abortion, who can't get an abortion in their respective state, that's what they're fighting on now to go to another state.
Right.
And his position is that if he was president, that's what he's going to be allowed.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
But bottom line is that we got to the point where we're saying, don't get to sidebars. Deal with the issues that are on the table.
That's it.
That's the discussion you need to have. Okay?
And you can't deal with the issue that's on the table if you don't vote.
That's right. That's a good answer. That's be a good one. Take care. See you next time.